Coming up on Talk is Cheap, we visit Montauk. This is very fucking freaky, some crazy fucking shit, and a little bit of Sasquatch twist. Yes. Up next, don't change the fucking channel. Talk is cheap, cheapest talk, and talk is oh so sweet. With me, as always, Peter Halbleib.
Yo.
Yo.
How's it going, Dan-ho?
I'm doing all right.
Good. Enjoying your summer thus far?
Yes, it's going by a little quick, but
Yeah,
I do
it
love the
always
weather because I hate fucking winter.
Dude, did you blow any shit up on 4th of July?
No, I didn't. But I wanted to.
You didn't celebrate your country's independence by blowing up a small piece of it?
I started independence by coming to the show and appreciating my what the forefathers did for us.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yep.
And some people can't even know what the hell, the forefathers are, what the hell the 4th of July is for.
Who are the forefathers? I can only get 2 or 3 of them.
Probably me too. Now you put me on the spot.
Get it?
What do we got?
Sorry.
George Washington?
Yeah.
Ben
Abraham
Franklin?
Lincoln,
Jefferson.
Whoever's on
Franklin.
Mount Rushmore, those are the forefathers, right?
Do you know
No,
Mount
because I don't
Rushmore's
think
that?
Abraham is, though.
No.
But I mean, I know why it was. It was for the independence from UK.
He's on Mount
Right,
Rushmore.
yeah. We basically said fuck you to the powers that control us. We don't like what you're doing to us. Your rich are taking advantage of the poor, so we're out of here.
But there's like this one guy does videos in California. He goes out and
What is the
like
purpose
he asks the
of
people,
4th
they
of
don't know
July
anything.
Celebrations.
I'm going to turn it to the guy in the USA shirt.
Fireworks. Independence
Day?
from...
History was not my subject. I slept through that class.
It's just about getting drunk, smoking weed, and that's it. They have no
Where's
idea.
this at?
California. He goes
Oh,
around and asks
I gotta
people.
go to California, then, man. That sounds like a rockin' place.
And on my right is Dusty Long.
Nice to meet you all again.
And again.
You know, I was looking at Mount Rushmore pictures and talking to somebody, and they said, that's not in chronological order. the faces aren't.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it pisses him right off.
Really?
He was really angry.
Pisses who off?
A buddy of mine, he's like, I was talking about going, or
Now I
he's
know it's
heading
not.
out that way.
I know it's not true.
Yeah.
All your buddies are right here, and nobody
Yeah.
remembers that story.
I gotta make them up.
Yeah.
All right, today I'm going to cover the Montauk Project. Does anybody know about Montauk? This is from
Manitowoc in Wisconsin.
Montauk is
Oh,
in New York.
Very, very just general information. It's the extension of basically the Philadelphia experiment or Philadelphia project, right, where they tried to teleport that naval ship. And the Montauk project is like the research done past that, right, super secret and stuff
Yep.
like that. That's about all I know is that the government has been experimenting with time and travel.
This is crazy, crazy shit. Like, you can't even make this stuff up. It's so crazy.
Or would you?
So let's start with the
local.
location. It's
All right.
located in New York, Long Island. So let's zoom in on it here. I got it pinned.
So what's the population of New York, Long Island?
A bunch.
Long Island, New York.
More than 4.
Now you're asking questions that I didn't prepare for.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, you'll be able to flash that up on the screen, right?
yeah.
Well,
Yep.
as we're talking. Awesome. But it's a lot of people, I'm guessing, right?
But here's
During
Montauk.
During these episodes, Pete always makes more work for Dan in editing. Yeah, you can just throw that up there on the screen sometime,
Yeah,
can't
right.
you?
Dude,
Right?
this is the point where we should, come in with and,
Here's Montauk. And then
Very
the
cool.
base is over. Like, this is like the tip. They got the lighthouse over here that you can visit.
Just the tip.
And we know TC loves that
But
tip.
that's a state park now, so you can camp in there and stuff, probably.
Theoretically, yes. And I'm going to switch to satellite here in just a second. This was built, I guess I can talk about it while I show it. Why not? This was built in 1942 in World War II, of course,
Yeah.
for against the Germans.
Yes.
And now here's a nice shot. And this is what really interests me is this radar dish.
Oh, yeah, look at
Because
that.
it just sits there. And that's, I think, what makes me so attracted to this topic.
You do like those big communication dishes and stuff,
Yeah,
man. Yeah.
I like big things. Anyway, it's the Sage radar. This was used in the 50s and 60s for early warning defense. They had
Yeah.
if a country launches a missile, they got to know about it ahead of time. And then later on, they got satellites in space that can do that, so they didn't need this later on.
Sure. Yep. Yeah.
But anyway, in 71, the Montauk project started, and this was for developing psychological warfare techniques, exotic research, teleportation, mind control, and contact with alien life.
Cool.
And like, if you talk to these locals,
Can we move?
yeah, go ahead. What are you looking for?
Well, I was interested in this black.
Yeah, I saw it. Looks like a maze almost.
Like it used to be a building maybe and burnt down because you can see the walls maybe.
Here's the thing. I'll get into this a lot.
It's a unique parking lot too.
There was a lot of buildings. There was one here, or there was, yeah, this one's down now.
This one's growing.
There's a
over.
lot. Like, this was a full-blown base. Even these over here were part of the base. These are all abandoned. There's nothing there you could walk through.
This is where we go during the zombie apocalypse around that area.
The people of Montauk, which was just down the road that I showed earlier. I don't know if I should load it on satellite. It's right down here. Were saying that they saw weird weather. They had snow in the middle of August. Animals in mass gathered in town, crashing through windows. Crimes committed in a 2-hour period, and then nothing. And
Like
then
it made the
teens-
people crazy too?
Not so much like it was a certain group of people, I guess, is kind of what was going on. And then they had teens that would gather in mass, and then, for a short period of time, and then they would nothing. Then it would stop. They would walk away. And this is all
would they be like
deriving-
riding, or they'd all of a sudden just congregate and be like, and then all of a sudden just boom, it stopped.
basically
and
just kind of like
off.
gathering? And this was the early part of the Montauk project where
Interesting.
they were doing the mind control on it. Top people involved. And I can, yeah, that's the lighthouse over there.
Oh, I was just wondering what that was.
Quite the parking lot for the White
Sorry,
House.
I didn't mean to
Lighthouse.
play with it too much. I apologize.
I'm gonna go through these photos here.
It's more than 2 zooms you're playing with it.
I can't help
I'm the
myself.
comic relief.
I was gonna say that's pretty
can't
quick.
help
Some quick wit over there
There's
on the couch.
basically 3 main people who are talking about this. One is Al Bielek, who we talked about on an earlier episode. He did the time travel. He time traveled from 2137 to 2749.
Is he the one that spent like 5 years in the future?
Yeah, and
Yep.
then he part of the Philadelphia experiment.
Yep,
That was
yep.
which was in 1943. And then we got Preston Nichols, he was a program director. He had a degree in electrical engineering, and people would recognize. This is the weird part. People would recognize him like in Montauk, and he didn't know them.
He had no idea
Because
who they were.
the thing is, when they dispersed this Montauk project, they wiped your memory.
Really?
So he's going around. People are, oh yeah. He went into a electronics parts store. Yeah,
Sure.
what do you need, Mr. Nichols?
Oh,
It's like,
sure.
what? I
How do
don't
you know?
even
Yeah,
who
it
you
goes
are.
into the diner and the
Yeah.
waitress knows him or something.
Knows what he
Sure.
orders him, yeah.
Oh, creepy, man.
We got Stuart Swardlow here. He was
Swarley.
actually. Did I say that wrong?
No, I don't know. I just said Swarley. It's another reference.
He was one of the Montauk boys. So they abducted him, and then they would beat him up, take him to the point of drowning, do LSD, take him to that breaking point, and that's when they can do the mind control programming, MK Ultra shit here. We're talking
Well,
about.
yeah, they break it down. It's
Yep.
psychological. There's a lot of studies out there that show that that's what they do. The military does it to a certain degree too.
And he was saying like he was like so desensitized, like he would see people being killed, he would see animals being killed, people being raped. So the point was they were using these kids in the base for Manchurian candidates down the road to commit acts.
Yeah.
Like maybe a school shooting or something. That's
Yeah.
why it's nothing to them, because they've been through, like, they're so desensitized.
Yeah, this is
to
just
it.
okay. This is my task. This is what I do.
Yeah.
Big deal. Yeah.
All right, the base. Here's a shot of it. It was actually in this book here. I have 2 books. This one was a really good read. I think I read this one before, but I started reading it again. I'm gonna have to go through it again and look at it a little bit. But this one's got like pictures and shit in it, and this is what I'm gonna show on screen, even
What?
documents.
What the heck are they piping through those pipes there above ground? That's kind of weird.
Those are he shows it in this tour video. This is a lot to cover in this little bit of time.
I know,
Holy
right?
shit.
Yeah. I feel the same way.
But the thing about this topic is I'm so excited about it. It's like there's something that's drawing me to it. I just don't understand it. But this is what basically kind of when the base was operational. So we got the computer control center. You can see the office buildings and the radar building. And I got another shot of the radar here. Above is a huge radar reflector that sits atop of the transmitter, building at Montauk and Air Force Base. It's nearly as long as a football field. It was used for early experimentation to beam mood control functions. So they were using the satellite. Let me get a better picture of it.
to beam mood control functions. Yes. Still, yeah. The piggybacking on the MK Ultra.
They were doing this for mind control.
The government for 100 years or
This is
more
a good
has
one
been
to read.
attempting to manipulate the thoughts and the actions of their population.
Right.
You know, that doesn't surprise me.
And when
in
they
the
were getting
least.
recruited for this project, they were saying like, "Here's a good shot." See this? I believe this building's gone here on the left, but I mean this is fenced off, and it says, I can bring up a better picture later on here. Like you can't trespass or you get ticketed or whatever, but you could walk in there and there's it's like full blown, sitting there, and this radar is there. You could just feel like just by looking at it that something happened there.
The energy that's still remaining in the air. Yep. Oh, so somebody snuck in, huh?
Well, they do a tour.
I would. There's no way hell I wouldn't go down there.
Take this show on the road and go to all these places.
Yeah, right. I
Ooh,
would
the
love to.
amplitron. I love it.
This is one of the things they were using to amplifying the antenna.
Okay.
I believe this was even still there. That's how they got a picture of it. But I mean, this technology is old. We're talking like 1970s.
Imagine what they're doing now,
yeah.
man.
Well, they don't have to do that. All they got is mass media. It's all propaganda.
one thing-
It changes
okay.
the way you think.
Yeah,
And
here's
fluoride
the
in the water.
Yep.
Thyrotron. This was used for bending time. Because there's time travel in here too. This is
Yeah.
such a complex subject. It's crazy.
This is interesting already.
One thing that I was curious when they talk about this, you know how I said how old it is? 70s? This is the computers they were using. IBM 360. Doing this shit. And if you think about what they could do now.
Oh, yeah.
What's that? What's that, Erica? Is that a picture of a Sasquatch? down there?
That's
Can
the
you
last
zoom-
girlfriend.
Can you zoom into that?
No.
I will for the show, but
There again. He's making more work for Dan later.
don't worry. I'm sure it's a lover's picture or something. That wasn't the exact computer they were using at Montauk.
Oh,
I just
okay.
got an example of the 360.
Oh, I'm
Sorry.
Picture
Maybe I
of
should have.
the guy's girlfriend sitting there. So I'm sorry.
All right, let's go to back to the kids. Okay, so the kids were used with. There's so much shit going on in the space. There's, they're doing the mind control experiments. They're trying to get these Manchurian Candidates from the kids that they're picking up. They pick up kids that are homeless, drug addicts. This is to draw a little attention. If you get too many.
Big deal. A homeless street kid disappears. Who cares?
Yeah. And eventually it got to the point where it's like, hey, we got to take some kids from inland in New York because if they take them all in that one area, it's going to get obvious. They're estimating 10,000 to 100,000 boys
Went through that.
at Montauk. This is Montauk only, so there's programs elsewhere.
Yep, sure.
But these are actual kids that are out there right now ready to be used at a drop of a hat when they need to be.
That's good.
Yeah, all grown up
Yeah.
adults now.
One thing he did say, like, ton of people go missing every year. Like, we talked about this before, but it's actually the numbers are higher than what I even said. He's saying 2 million reported by the FBI, but they don't officially report it. But they only can account for 1 million. That 1 million they can find.
Yep.
Another million
Gone.
gone. And think about if they're doing projects like this.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I was just watching I don't know, it was a TED Talk or something, but they said that every year the United States brings over 1 million immigrants. And I kept on thinking, like, for the last 5 or 6 years, and I kept thinking to myself, that's a lot of fucking people. Like, where are we putting them? Where are they going? And that's 1 million people, And now you're saying they bring in 1 million and 1 million leave and can't be found. I mean,
Well, just look at the flesh peddling trade too. I mean, they're shipping nameless people that don't exist all over the planet.
which, not to get too far off subject, did you see that new app, or is it an app or a website? They want you to take pictures of your hotel room. I should look it up. Maybe I can find it before we edit this. It's hugely important, but there's an app or a program where you go to a hotel. We all go to them when we go to these conventions and stuff. They want you to take a picture of your hotel room, then you upload it, and it goes into a database, and they're using that to find those people that are doing the skin trade, because a lot of
the background. Start comparing the background.
exactly.
and
So a
stuff.
lot of these
That's a
people will
good
take
idea.
these women and children and men, and they'll take them into these hotel rooms to wait for the buyer to come pick them up and buy them. And they usually take a picture of the person, and they post, and they send that. Well, then these people are using these pictures to find these horrible slave driving, jerks.
Jerks.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
If
anyway,
you wanted to say assholes.
I really did, but Yeah, so maybe I can find that. I'll give it to Daniel for editing. We can put it up there because that's hugely important because that's a big deal. Mm-hmm. So, all right.
There was this chair that they made. It's called the Montauk chair. The early stages were in the 1950s, but they really started using it in at Montauk when the base became available. When they used the base after the World War, which was in the late 70s, I believe they started using it for Montauk.
Okay.
So there was a downtime. There's a downtime then about 30 years from the end of World War II to when they fired up Montauk.
Apparently they still used Montauk. The radar they shut down in 70.
Oh, they shut down the radar in 70.
Oh,
okay.
Montauk
I see.
started in
Oh, okay.
71.
So they shut down the mind control radar, and this Montauk project started up. So they ended one. Do we know what that project was called that shut down the radar?
Is that part of MK Ultra?
Oh.
What do you mean shut down the radar?
Well, didn't you just say that they shut down the radar in
They weren't
1970?
using it for the missile incoming.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Oh,
so,
and
then they started using it for the mood
Yeah.
control.
I gotcha.
Then there was this Montauk chair. You sit this one a guy that was trained. His name was Duncan. That is the known one. He would sit in the chair, and basically whatever he would. Let me do the early stages. I got to do this in order before I get ahead of myself. It would display what is on your mind, and this was believed to be Syrian technology. So we're talking alien stuff here.
Not Syrian as in the country Syria.
Nope.
Okay.
Okay, the evolution of the project. First, it was just dialogue. Then they would get a picture on the screen after they developed the technology. Then it was 3D on the screen. 1977, they were able to materialize the stuff like ghosts, like you would see it, but
Like
it wasn't there.
holographic
Yeah.
almost, right? That's
Luke, you're only.
Then
hope.
later on, it was physical.
No.
Yeah.
So you could make little green creatures running around.
make
so
whatever you
this
want.
would be like on Star Trek, the holodeck. So you
Yeah,
could,
there you go. Yeah.
So you walk through your own memories, like the holodeck on Star Trek, right? Kind of like that.
Well, they just did objects, like they would manifest a chair.
Oh, okay.
Something simple right away.
Okay.
I don't know if it ever got that far. I'm sure it's well beyond that now.
Okay, I can't do it.
Crazy shit.
tried.
Yeah.
But
Can't do it.
another part was actually using this as like a form of mind control. He was able to concentrate on a person. You'd see through their eyes,
And control their
ears,
actions and stuff.
feeling what they would be like. He could control their thoughts, so they would think it would be their thoughts.
Yep.
So you could have somebody do something.
No shit. So if any of us ever start
Like
acting weird,
Professor
we'd have to-
Xavier.
yeah.
If you think about it, and then a lot of these kids that are committing these crimes are people. Like, I had no idea what I was doing, you know?
Yeah, I don't know what came over
Yeah.
me. I was out of body. It felt like it wasn't me doing it.
Yeah,
And yeah.
exactly. Taking us a step farther, because I'm really condensing this. They could use the chair, they'd create a vortex, and now this, they could go to the future or the past. Now it's getting really crazy. They would use those Montauk kids I was talking about. Some of them they would have them go through the time tunnels. One of which I showed Stuart. He was one of the boys that had to do this stuff. He actually went back to the past, had to take a DNA sample from Jesus.
Cool.
That's crazy as fuck, is not.
Was it a hair sample?
I say, how do you do that? You just walk
DNA,
up to the old boy,
blood.
and it's just like, hey, what's up, Jesus?
Yo, JC, can I?
I believe he was on the cross when he did it.
Really?
Yeah.
He just walked up and scooped some blood up. You don't read about that in the Bible.
No, I don't think that's in the book there.
This shit got out of control. There's people, like Preston was one of them, and there was other people that didn't want. They saw how this was going, and it was going really demonic and
Sure.
evil.
Yeah. Evil. Yep.
So he went through. Or I'm getting ahead of myself again. They made a code word to Duncan, who was in the chair. When he's in the chair, he doesn't know what he's doing. It's just all, they say something to him and that's what's programmed. And his phrase that they triggered him, they said, the time is now. And they programmed with us, he made a monster, which happened to be a Sasquatch.
The Montauk Monster.
Yes.
Yeah, I was wondering if this was going to come up at all. I wasn't going to bring it up unsolicited.
They used him, the monster manifested, so now we're talking physical, started destroying the base. And it got way out of hand, and then the guy running the project told Preston, hey, we got to shut this down. So he went through and started cutting the cables. I actually got one picture on screen where you can see where this torch mark from cutting the cable.
Yeah.
And this was all over the base. He was going around to all the power supplies, cutting them. And then it was still running. He's like, how the fuck is this thing still running? The thing is, it was going back to the Philadelphia experiment, was 43, and it was recirculating all that energy, and it kept itself running.
Really?
No shit.
So almost like became self-aware almost there
Yeah.
or something, right? Not quite self-sustaining. That's a lot of coax cables in that picture too, there on the left.
And then finally, then the thing is, they cut the power. This
Ooh,
is
look at that.
supposedly still there today. It's like embedded in like the frequency. If you can't see it with your naked eye, but if you take it with a picture, it's still there.
No shit.
Yeah. So it just froze there, and it's just like it's stuck in time. It's right by this underground bunker thing. Well, actually, this is where they had the guns. I'm gonna put a picture on screen of that too, because I forgot to do that earlier.
Yeah.
There was a gun they had out here that rotated before for the anti-air.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's another one up there.
Where?
That picture, there's two of them. There's one up in the upper right.
Oh, this one.
This one?
One you were on. The third, fourth
Go
one,
ahead.
up to the right.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe possibly even a third one, right?
So 1, 2.
One on the
Those are
bottom.
evergreen
There's one on the
bushes.
bottom down there, two laying down.
Oh, that's a depression in the ground. That's an evergreen, and that's an evergreen. That's an evergreen.
As far as I know, there was only one.
Maybe he had babies.
Maybe you could say it was the time distortion, so it's making it look like it's
Maybe that's a
It's
fucking
moving.
tree.
fucked up. It's fucked up because it's there and it's not there. So if you want to talk about physical, there's nothing there. Anyway, after the whole project shut down, this monster, after this happened, this was in 1983, August, I believe it was. So they shut down the base, took everybody out, brainwashed the workers, and then the base was abandoned. In May, June 1984, so we got a little time in there, they sent in an execution squad, shot anything that moved, and then another team came in, took sensitive equipment, the stuff that really mattered. And then 6 months later, they had a convoy of cement trucks come in, seal the underground.
Start
That's one thing I
filling
never even
things
talked
in,
about
yeah.
yet, was there was a huge underground in here. And if you go in there, the radar, there's an underground part that they sealed. There was actually a elevator, but you can't go down because it's all cemented.
Yep.
I really want to go down there now.
This was supposedly where they had the Montauk boys held.
Inside the cage, you'll see
In
the
cages.
table where the Montauk boys were held. They were held on these tables. They were somewhat out. They were not conscious. They were processed here. Most of the time, they were stark naked. They're also held on these shelves over here to our right.
This is one of the best videos I found of a tour of the whole base. These we got Preston Nichols, that's Al Bielek right there. They went through and walked, did a whole tour of it, showing what they were telling.
We're
We're now going in one of these little rooms.
I was gonna
There are
just make a
many of
comment
these
to
little
that.
rooms. I believe there are 3 rooms this size. We're not going to show you all the rooms. We're just
But this was basically in that they had that anti-gun thing. It's back farther. There's a long corridor, and then they got sections of rooms where they stored the boys in.
Okay.
The wiring in the this is very interesting. The radar. So I'll let kind of speak for himself here.
chassis out for what we don't know. We're now seeing new wiring that goes up to the roof. Some of this wiring has dates of like 89 on it. This wire we're looking at here is dated 1988. It has a nick in it to make it look used. The nick is just deep enough so it doesn't hurt the function of the wiring, but it looks old. They would do this to camouflage it so nobody would notice it. But if you
Comments.
So
You got wiring. He said you can look at the wiring, which he did. This guy's an electronic guy. I told you the Montauk project shut down in, what did I tell you?
74?
No, 83.
83.
After that's when the Montauk monster came through.
So-
He's talking wiring from
5
88.
788, yeah, so 4 or 5 years later.
What the fuck?
So they only cemented off the main elevator shafts, but the service elevators are still going. They
Oh,
still,
yeah.
hide it in plain sight. No, that's a shutdown base. Now everything's just moved underground, right?
Underground, yeah. Umbrella Corp type stuff.
He even goes through. This is basically
installation we use for their experimentation.
The generators and
Well, the
shit. I mean, this is
entire base-
massive stuff just sitting there, you know.
We can see the
Well,
relation
a
to the
generator that
generators,
large
the
needs
power
a large
control
power
panels.
source.
He said you could use, there's actually 4 of these, I believe, generators. He said you could run the whole Montauk Island off of it. That's how much power this fucking...
They were using, huh?
Oh my god.
Tracking.
Here's another date.
We can see dates on this going up to July of 79.
79, and I
This
told you
base was
the official...
supposedly derelict in 71.
Yeah, it's inspected
Why
in
were they testing
76.
stuff
Yeah,
on
and
a
71
derelict
or
base?
70
The
was when
large batteries used as backup power.
Those batteries are still there? Oh, I would have taken them. Those
We're
are
now
deep
looking
cells.
at some of the windows that look north towards the radar tower.
I would
This
just
is
love to do
west
this. It's like
behind
Urban
the
X
radar
stuff.
tower.
Oh yeah, that'd be badass, wouldn't it?
But he goes through some of these other old... Oh my god, there's so much stuff here. I can't believe the time went by so fast.
Another shot of the batteries, the backup
Damn
battery.
tracking.
Yeah, I know. VHS, right?
Yeah, we could do so much better if we were get to go down there.
But he's got... Well, this was in 93 when he went through here, so I mean... A lot, like I said, a lot of the buildings were removed, and... I'm sure they're actually... They probably put cameras up. Cameras are so cheap now, too, so...
Oh yeah.
But you can't really go in there anymore.
Sure we can. We just gotta find someone to pay our tickets. Bail us out.
But I encourage you guys to look at this a little bit.
Yeah,
'cause
that's awesome.
Something about it's drawing me to it. I don't know what it is, because there's not much stuff that'll like get me going. But this one, it's probably because there's physical evidence right in front of me.
Yeah.
I think it's that radar too. That's sort of it's there. Something's gone on.
Yep. Yeah, that's interesting. I'll have to dig into this personally some more too, because
I'm interested enough to do that.
I like how it ties into the Philadelphia experiment,
Yeah.
and then the Montauk monster, just the created through the manifestation of thoughts of these people that were manipulated. I mean, just there's a little bit of everything for somebody
It's
in here,
very
right?
deep, very deep.
First place we should go when we do on location.
They even said the underground was like a mile, like square mile.
I believe it.
And there's so many levels. Mm-hmm. And there's this other, I want to mention too, Montauk Chronicles. That video just came out last year, 2015. It's more of a newer video. That's what you need to watch, because they go through it. There was a guy that came forward and showed them hatches to the entrances of this place, and it's like they open it up and there's just water filled with it, because they wanted everything sealed. It's
Flooded
like
it, yeah.
cement or water was the big thing. So with the mic, I'm gonna leave you guys with one question before we wrap up. If you had like a one-way ticket, sometimes they were talking about you could go someplace but you can't come back. Would you go to the future or the past?
Future. Definitely
How
future.
far?
Well, do we get to pick our time?
Whatever, yeah.
I don't know.
I'd go to the.
500
I would
years,
totally go
1,000
to the
years?
past and pull a fucking Back to the Future and bet on sports games.
See, that's what I was
and
thinking too.
shit.
That's like you could go to the Back to the Future and you know what's going to happen, so you could bet and make money. Or you could go to the future where technology is better.
Yeah, I was
and
gonna say,
then maybe enjoy yourself, but you still have to figure out how to make money.
And see, that's the thing for me is, I want to find a way to prolong life, because I have so many questions unanswered that the only fear I have when it comes to death is not having those answers to the questions.
Yeah, right.
So if I could, get frozen or extend my life somehow so I can live for 1,000 years, I'll probably still have more questions. But, plus I want to see where we end up, because the way I think we're going now, I might be the only asshole that shows up. Poof, 1,000 years later. Where's
the thing I would look forward to
as
in
your
the future
skin starts peeling off from the radiation and stuff.
the thing I would like about the future is that technology, that things would be easy. Maybe you would have a hoverboard. I don't know. But like the past, you know what you're getting already. So it's like, you got shitty, if you're lucky, dial-up internet. If you go back even farther.
Yeah, I don't base my happiness on the tech stuff.
See, I do.
I
That's
had
my
more
problem.
happiness back in the day. It might be like the movie that you ever seen The Time Machine?
Yeah.
Where they lose the technology ain't there anymore. They're more primitive again. It's just you go so far that you just
Wasn't it an
destroy
Albert
yourself.
Einstein quote that said the Third World War will be fought with nuclear weapons and the Fourth World War will be fought with sticks and stones?
I always thought the Third World War would be with aliens.
It could be.
Einstein,
and nuclear
yeah.
weapons.
I figured, Dano, you go to the future so you get that full-on synthetic chick.
I think I would have to.
Yeah.
Like, half of me wants to go back to the past, and I could be like, whatever, a
He'd buy
billionaire.
Tantric 3000 and get all get his whack offs whenever he wants. from a
Tantric
robot.
massages, ladies and gentlemen. Look into them. Those
No,
are so
don't
great.
look into them.
Anyway, thank you guys for joining us. It's been Talk is Cheap. We ran a little long, but this is great. I wish I could have went a little more in depth.
We can do a part 2 sometime.
I might have to.
Yeah.
I'm really passionate about this.
Yeah.
I can tell. I would like to see us do more on it.
I'll have the links down below. I got Al Bielek talking about all this stuff. It's very compelling. It's like a 2-hour interview of him going into this stuff. So, very interesting. Anyway, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and always give us a thumbs up. That helps us a lot. We're not seeing many of those, and we'd really like to get those up. So, I am Dan Hohlfeld.
I'm Pete Halbleib.
I'm Dusty Long.
Catch you later.
It's an apple.
All right, we're going to run all this shit on Dusty's PS4 and watch him do all the magic.
We sound like a bunch of news anchors there.
And fuck yourself.
And
And go fuck yourself.